Cyril? Please start, Cyril.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Cheryl Oliveira Fernandez, Assistant Professor of Marine Sciences at the School of Earth, Ocean and Atmospheric Science and an IIC member. I welcome you all to this online motivational session by successful entrepreneurs or startup founders organized by Goa University's Institution Innovation Council. Today we have two distinguished speakers who will share their success stories of their respective startups. Our first speaker is Dr. Vanita Prasad. She is the founder and CEO of Ready Environmental Solutions, which is an environmental biotechnology company. Dr. Vanita Prasad is an environmental biotechnologist with more than 20 years of experience in related fields. She has graduated in science from University of Delhi. She completed her master's and PhD in biotechnology at Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, with fellowships obtained from GBT and CSIR, Government of India. Dr. Prasad has a long association with the industry as consultant scientist while heading R&D functions at various waste management companies. She holds patents for specific innovation in the field of waste management and renewable energy. Her company, Revi Environmental Solutions, has proven competency in transforming waste into reusable resources. Waste treatment and biomethane production through anaerobic digestion process is their core area of expertise. The company provides biocultures to enhance aeration units of effluent treatment plants for industrial waste. Treatability studies on wastewater from various industries like dairy, vegetable market waste, kitchen waste, paper mills, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, dye and dye intermediates, distilleries, and petrochemical industries are carried out. Dr. Prasad has won many accolades and awards, some of which are as follows. She has won the India-Israel Innovation Challenge in 2017, which was organized by Invest India. She has been presented with the iconic Women Creating a Better World Award to the International Women Economic Forum in 2018. She is also a winner of the first Grand Challenge organized by Startup India. She has won many grants and fellowships, namely the Bharat First Granty in 2018, and she's also has academic attachments as a co-guide for students working in the field of chemical environmental engineering from institutions like IIT Gandhinagar. A warm welcome to you, ma'am, and we look forward to hearing from you today. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep and the organizer for inviting me to share my journey. So I will start the slides. Should I share now? Mansi, you have to stop sharing. Could you able to see the slides? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So I will start presenting my journey basically, and I will like to interact with the students who are sitting and listening to this. If they have the specific question right away, they can convey at this point of time also, so that I can address them accordingly. They will like to share something at this point of time, or they will share later. Is my voice clear? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so should I start?
Yes, ma'am. You can go ahead.
Okay. So, as we all know, there are a lot of issues right now. The basic serious threat for the industry is the energy crisis at this point of time. There is a water scarcity, there is a resource scarcity, there is a climate change happening, there is a global warming happening. These are the serious threats, not only for industry, for everybody. Right now, we are facing all these. Energy consumption is increasing again, increasing with all these virtual engagements. We know how important the energy is. So basically, when we look into this scenario, the resolution is resource efficiency. That means we have to very carefully select the raw material for generating the energy source. Then we have to minimize the waste, we have to minimize the emissions, we have to minimize the risk or the hazards associated with the processes. So that means that we have to do a responsible management of materials and energy flow during the production itself. We have to be very careful that what we are selecting, and we have to pay attention to the use and recycling or disposal, or we I have to say that we have to check the whole product life cycle, that is from cradle to this thing from start to the end, because every step contributes to the carbon emissions. So we can't just say that we have done this much on this side and that therefore this process is more efficient. We have to see the whole life cycle. That is very very important nowadays. There is a benefit of resource efficiency. If any companies, I'm talking basically as an entrepreneur, because there are a client which is which to whom we have to interact. So basically those are industry, and that's why I'm focusing this on the basis of a company perspective. So why it is benefit for a company is if they have a reduction in cost of material or the chemical or the energy, there is a net money gain. Reduction in cost of disposal of waste, treatment or emission also gives them a there is an associated cost. Once they reduce their disposal, their cost will reduce. Reducing cost of compliance with the law governing waste emissions and the use of chemicals over the long, resource efficiency applied at a large secures the supply to resource. That is what we can say. So keeping this scenario in the mind, basically the SDGs goals has been, we all are looking at these SDGs goals have been formed because there is a biosphere which we have. So all of them come, all these goals are interlinked. So we can't say that we will be achieving the one but not the other. So that's what wherein most of the people, like in global scenario, we are associating each other to do that. But the most important is water and the climate action, which is the basis of all the other SDGs goal, and that we have to keep in mind while doing our specifically innovations in the waste management field or the water management field. And there are now a lot of objectives which has been given by the green and sustainable chemistry. As we know, a lot of industrialization has created a number of issues, and now the people are now switching on to a sustainable development wherein we need sustainable chemistry. We want to minimize the disposal, so that's what they have given these 10 objectives, which are very clear cut and have to be focused on to achieve these SDGs goal and have minimum impact onto the environment. So these are the very important factors which has been come up in last decade. So when we are talking about resource efficiency, we have to see what are the indicators for resource efficiency. So dematerialization. What does this dematerialization means? That is material intensity per unit of the service. Whatever we are getting it from any material, that is very, very important. Decarbonization is an hep word right now. Everybody is talking about decarbonization of this energy sector, transportation sector, every sector we are talking about decarbonization as we want to reduce our carbon footprints. So, cleaner production means everybody says that I have done this process which will be reducing greenhouse emission by this many percent. So, this is very important thing because as such, every country is pledging to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. So, this becomes very, very important that our processes, our research, how we are contributing to reducing the greenhouse gases. Then there is a very important thing that I am creating a process. I am not creating any hazardous material. I am not generating any hazardous emissions in form of a solid gas or a liquid this thing. So that is very, very important. So safer production means whatever you are producing is not damaging any of your other environment or tackling the byproduct produce in a very safer manner. There should not be any material which is having more toxicity or have a toxic effect. So this all can be seen in as an integrated management system. So production, not only production, now we have to see till the disposal also. So when we talk about the resource, so what are the things which is required by the industry? So I tried to put it in, got it into a very comprehensive kind of thing, wherein I have put this water, energy, material, chemical, and health safety, and all these. Once you are doing efficiency for one, that will be having a direct impact on the others. So they are very much interrelated, and hence we need to do a very thorough understanding what we are using, what we are changing, because it will be going to impact on our other sides. When we are saying that we are doing a less water, that means there will be less energy required for the pumping. There is a less water which will be generated as an effluent, so you need to manage it lesser. So all these are very much interconnected. If I am using a less chemical, same way, that's how all these are very much interrelated. So a resource efficiency by sitting with the industry and understanding their requirements is very, very important. And energy and industries are now focused on these kinds of audits also. So if I come to the other challenges, which generally we called as waste. Waste is basically taken as a burden right now by our society, and the classical definition is anything which is left over we will uh, say is as a waste. But my definition, or I will say our company's definition, is that nothing is waste. It is a resource placed at a wrong place at a wrong time, and we need to find a right place and a right way to use it. Any byproduct, when reused, is the basis of a circular economy. So waste disposal generally is taken as a burden, and it is actually, when we are not disposing it in a very right way, then it creates an environment pollution, and hence there is a global climate change, or greenhouse gases are generated. All these are interconnected, and we need to see that, because a lot of greenhouse gas emission is from only dumping of waste. Another thing is that there is as I mentioned, an increase in energy demand, which has been shown in the graph, and there is a resource depletion. We just got to know that there is no coal, or the coals are going here and there, and we need to have the other resources. So we don't have resources. Everybody is listening that fossil fuel is depleting. We all are listening from last, I think, more than 3 decades. But since we have done a lot of progress on renewable energy, we still have a lot of resources. So when we are working on to, as I mentioned that waste is a resource, and when we are focusing on to the waste, there is an hierarchy that what we want in a circular economic manner. First is that we have to look into the processes or the ways by which we can prevent generation of a waste disposing, or I can say we have to think on our throwaway lifestyles. We all follow that particular lifestyle. Or industry also have a tendency to throw something out. So that is where we need to see the prevention. Then we have to reuse it. Then we have to recycle whatever we can recycle, and then we have to recover. Right now, everybody, there is a lot of research going on for recovering anything from the landfills, anything from the e-waste, any material from the batteries. All these things are required because these are the resources which we have already used. So nowadays, using virgin resources are pretty much out of the picture. We have to work on to the recyclable materials, and that is very, very important and very important research area at this point of time. And then finally, whatever is left over has to be disposed, and that's where we are focused on. So when I say waste, this is a very important resource for bioeconomy. I am now focusing my talk only onto the organic fraction of the waste. There are a lot of waste. It can be a construction waste. It can be e-waste. There are other types of waste. But basically, I am more focused on to the organic fraction or the organic rich waste. So that is a basic material. If we are talking about bioeconomy, you can do a lot of things using waste for bioeconomy. You can produce a lot of products, but my main focus for basis of circular economy is using waste to produce and nutrition energy and nutrition, so that we can have total from the waste material. We will be recovering carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, sulfur, all the elements uh, as energy and as well as nutrient, so that we can improve the soil quality, we can get water, and we can get energy. That is what the motive is. So as I have to share a little bit about myself, how I started it. I was born in 1971, back a long back, wherein at that scenario, girls' child are not allowed to study a lot. So I have to struggle a lot to get to the higher education. My father told me the mantra to reach to your goals is to get a scholarships and get going. So I have to prove my abilities to reach to this point. So when I could able to reach to my MSc, I was very clear that I wanted to work into immunological field, as I was very much fascinated by learning how human body works from my very initial age. But during my PhD, when I started working on medical diagnostic kit, and meeting the patients, when I went to their houses and I saw the condition they are living, the slums, because at that point of time I was not that much exposed to the real reality, because Google Baba was not there. I was very much protected girl, which used to go to school and come back, college and come back. So I was not knowing much of the things, the real realities. But when I went to the slum area, I questioned myself why I am doing this thing when the uh, child are dying only by diarrhea. Until now, the situation is same. COVID has also created the same situation. So still, I am working with the sanitation, and that is my priority from that. I will say from 1993 onwards. So I focused on to improving the sanitation condition using anaerobic digestion. So basically, as I mentioned, my motivation was that environment deterioration causing a lot of health issues, desire of you managing this waste, because from there I was questioning what is this waste actually is. So waste as a resource and using it in a way, I could able to do the improvement of anaerobic digestion. And to right now, after my working as PhD, I worked as an R&D head of environment consultancy, where I tried to treat a lot of effluents. And after that, I understood that there is a lot of issues which industry is facing to managing the biological systems. So I thought of doing this product and to help industry to actually manage their waste. And for that, I have created this very small team. Ratnesh is helping me in the business, and Khadrani ji is an angel investor who came to our stall when the I just started as an idea, and he told me that I wanted to invest. I told I don't need only the money, I need the people. And he is coming from a very different background. As when we are forming a company, we need a complementary skilled people. I only know the science, I don't know how the company works. So Bhavik ji came as a co-founder, and we started the company. And what we started in Revi, or I will say as a founder, what Revi is all about is Revi is basically an R&D based startup, wherein the main motive of our company is to conversion of waste into resource, or a waste to resource conversion. We are focused onto the bioremediation of waste, any kind of waste material. We are focused on to the production of biogas and biohydrogen, or biomethane, or biohydrogen, I will say biofuels. We are doing a lot of treatability for complex waste and trying to figure out how best we can do the waste management for a particular company. As I mentioned, that there is a lot of resources involved in a company and how we can help them. But the core product, the innovation which has been started is anaerobic granulated sludge and the product around it. So so as scientist, or as a science person, my curiosity was how these microbes are working. We all are studying it from I think our graduation. We are studying a lot of things, how they are communicating, and still I'm trying to figure out, because anaerobic digester is so complex ecosystem, that as a biochemist, as a microbiologist, we need to know a lot of things there. We have a lot of tools, so we have to study basic science to make it into a product shape, so that we can really solve the a lot many actual real life problems. So waste to energy, we all know, and this is not a rocket science. Biogas and anaerobic digestion is known from years, or I will say centuries. And India was pioneering to do a bus in Mumbai using a biogas technology. Still, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. This is not an user-friendly technology till now. And in India, we don't use this technology as environment consultant. We generally focus on to the aeration technology. So this is a closed loop. If an industry is using, we know the zero waste houses or zero waste industries, and there are norms now that waste has to be tackled by even the bulk generator. Solid waste management rules has been set up like that now. So as I mentioned, anaerobic digester comes as a core center of these particular management, or I will say there are not many pathways. Apart from this, we can do a lot of things. Even bioethanols are being produced using the anaerobic, means fermentation technology, not exactly the anaerobic digestion, but we can do a lot of things using these anaerobic digester as such. So my focus was basically these anaerobic digesters as biogas plant, or USB plants, to improve the efficiency. That was the focus, and so as to we could able to recover the energy. And as I think I need not to spend too much of time, because all of you are microbiologists and science students. You know, these are the four main, basically the steps which is required, and we need all kinds of microorganisms working in hand. Disbalance of any one of these species will create a disbalance in the reactor, and that's where the challenge is. So we know a lot of microbiology, but actually in the plants when they are working, we need to have an early indicators. Like in the case of cancer, if we can know at first stage if the cancer is happening, we can cure. And similarly, if we are working with these plants, if we know initially that something is going wrong, we can stabilize the plant. So what I tried to do is as I was knowing this is a mixture and a single stage product needs a lot of microorganisms. So during my 20 to 25 years of experience, I could able to isolate a lot of microorganisms from the effluent, from the sewage, wherever I was working. So I tried to pack all these thing into this kind of granules and this type of slurry, which I called as REVS. And this is the core innovation which we have done by using BIRAC Big Grant as support. And the Savli Biotech Incubator has given me the incubation space. So there we have developed this particular technology, and all of us knows that aerobic technology has a lot of issues, or it's an energy intensive this thing, and greenhouse gas emissions happens, and it creates a lot of sludge which we need to tackle. But still we all are working with the aerobic conventional technology because we don't know how to handle the anaerobic systems. And starting these anaerobic system was a challenge. We all know that cattle dung can generate, we can use cattle dung to start any anaerobic digester, but it is very tough to get all these right kind of microorganisms in place to run or to start these conventional digester. And the things get complicated when we are using an high rate anaerobic reactor for a very low HRT, and that's where this granulated sludge is very very important, but had a lot of advantages. So that's why I focused on to developing this particular granulated sludge. And if this is there, then these reactors can work, and that's why we can save a lot of cost for wastewater treatment or waste treatment itself. We can get bioenergy as a byproduct. We will be reducing greenhouse emission as we are not using aeration technology. We will be saving a lot of energy. So we will be creating a reusable water. Aeration technology also creates a reusable water, but with the energy involved. But in our case, it will not be. So that's why I was focused on to this particular product, and this is the value proposition which we are offering to many industry. And I'm happy to say that a lot of industry has not been now thinking to switch on to anaerobic digestion. And as government of India has a mandate now for a lot of plants, so industry, they are giving a lot of benefits. And this year in the budget, we are focused on to this. So what our product could able to create is we are supporting sustainable management of water. These are the SDGs goals which we are focused on, and as well as the government of India sustainability internal objectives. That is what we are focused on. If our product, that's what we are projecting, that if our products will be implemented as industry will be changing from aeration to anaerobic, we can, within the 5 years, our target is to save 3,000 million metric ton of CO2. Our core products which we are supplying is something which comes in this form, but very soon we will be supplying this sludge in tankers, because the volume of reactors which is there are so huge that we just can't provide it in a very small cans. So these are basically the sludge which we have produced, the basic RAVS. And then there is a seed culture which I have produced, which is not actually granulated, also sells as a product. Then we have created an aeration, which is not a lot many innovation involved in that, but it is nothing but a microorganism which are aerobic microorganisms which are present in RAVS as such, but only those without any anaerobic or methanogenic culture or other sulfur-reducing culture we could provide as an AER, which can be used to start any aeration. So this goes with the packed plant like STPs, packed STPs or other things. And these are the basic nutrients which is required by all these microorganisms. So this I never thought of that this will be a product, but one of my very early I will say, because people are knowing me in the industry, they asked me to help them to stabilize their reactor which they have got from China. and they want to install and commission that plant, and it was not happening. So I helped them with this particular nutrients, and within 3 months they could able to stabilize their plant. And that's what was a great achievement. And they wanted to buy this as a product. So that's how I could able to understand. That's where the progress is, that we talk about MVP. So whatever we are doing, we really don't know that market also needs these kinds of products. When we go to the client, then we come to know that okay, this can also be a product. So what we could able to achieve till now, that for Ravi, the seed culture, if we are using any solid waste material, actually the granulated material is not that much required by them. And we have tested it with almost every organic material, from high lignocellulosic waste to aerobic sludge. If you want to produce biogas using any of these material, we can supply this particular thing. And regarding the validation, how I could able to get the strength of supplying this is by validating, supplying these cultures to our clients. The very first client which I got is from an accelerator program, and that's where this ecosystem of acceleration and incubator helps an science idea to really reach to the market. Is a connect which they have given, that because the PepsiCo plant was not functioning, their biogas genset to converting biogas to electricity is not installed, because plant is not giving any biogas. It is an acidic plant, and they could not able to standardize it. And when we have applied our first product, at that point of time, I just have a 10-liter reactor from where I was generating these cultures. So I could able to supply, and with the consultancy, within 4 weeks I could able to standardize. And the amazing thing was the gas production was very high, and they were amazed. But I told them that this will not be the gas production continuously. You will be stabilizing it, because there was an excess VFA here. So we could able to get an excess biogas at the starting point. And then they only told me that the gas which is produced is having much methane as compared to their Pune plant, which is not running on Ravi start cultures. And that's why they could able to tell us that the methane which is produces, much concentration of methane in this biogas is more than 70%. And then similarly, there was another plant which has been given to us. This we got a chance to commission the plant. We have commissioned a plant using our cultures in municipality, that is Noida municipality. And you can see, once this plant, because this is commissioned by us, they were getting a lot of biogas, but they stopped dosing nutrient, and soon they will be having a biogas reduction, and that was very clear cut. And when they have started using the nutrient again, they have stabilized it. So that's where I can say that how important is the nutrient itself. And this was very small plant, again turned acidic. This is a kitchen waste plant. So this is an industrial plant in Delhi, and we could able to generate this. And here they have this happy problem, that because the gas generated was more than the storage, and now they can, I suggested them to supply to their workers so that they can use the gas for their cooking. So that's how the waste, if utilized in a proper way, they can be a source for them as an energy source. And this can count the industry can count get a lot of benefits from government when they are using the green fuels. So that is how this is very important. And then coming to the wastewater, as I was focused onto the wastewater, I tried working with all these effluents basically, but not actually with all clients. But we have done a lot of lab studies with lab trials, because wastewater treatment are very huge plants, and changing any with a small laboratory kind of reactor is not possible for me to commission. So that was the difficulty. But we have done a lot of trials with industry, and that's why they have given us an LOI, or letter of intent, to buy these cultures worth 5 crores I had in hand right now. So, but still, I wanted to do a performance study with the actual effluent plant where 100-meter cube per day was generated from a potato starch effluent, and this industry has gotten shutdown notice because they could not able to treat their wastewater, and that's where the industry has an issue because they have to follow the norms. So we could able to restart their ETP and hence their production, but this plant got a issue because of during the COVID. They again got a shutdown, and we are now working with them to stabilize their reactor. And they could able to. I'm very happy to tell that they are happy to expand their production capacity because their if ETP is now functioning and can treat and generate a lot of gas, and they are thinking to utilize it in total their ETP processing. So that's where they are modifying their plant at this point of time. So it is very important. So now comes that if as I mentioned, monitoring of anaerobic digester and providing this culture, but who will maintain this culture? So who will maintain? Because this question is same. There are all engineers or a grade 4 employees which who don't know what the microorganism is. There is no microscope there. How will they monitor this? And the anaerobic digester monitoring is a challenge internationally, and there are a lot of standardized processes now across globe. I can tell you that internationally people are ensuring their anaerobic digester. There is an insurance which has come in anaerobic digestion also, and that's how this science has been so important for the business perspective, also economic benefit also. I should take a stop over here. If anybody want to ask anything at this point of time, I am more than happy to 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 talk to the people because it will be a lot of dosage from my side. Is it okay? I stopped sharing. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to ask anything or want to have any clarity, I'm more than happy to talk and then go ahead. Is it okay? Or should I continue? Yeah.
Participants, any question, please? Dr. Vanita?
I can continue, Sandeep.
Yes, please continue.
Okay. Can you see slides now? No? Okay. So as I was mentioning that monitoring of these digester or the health of these microbes is very important. Uh, to know basically the overall picture of biogas process, we need to understand where the process is, how is it going on, or identifying an upcoming instability in an anaerobic digester before the crash happens. Before actually the biogas production stops, we need to identify and we have to rectify it. This is not an issue in India still, that we can dump something out of the digester, and this is a very common practice कि हम उसको recommission करते हैं, we just throw out everything and we restart the reactor. But internationally this is a very very huge problem because they cannot dispose the content. And right now, if you are aware, under the Satat scheme, we are focusing on to a biogas plant which will be generating around 5,000 meter cube of CBG per plant, and the volume of the reactors and anything, any disbalance, if we want to just dump it somewhere, we will not be having any space, and the amount of smell which we will be created is huge. So that's why it becomes very, very important that before instability we could able to understand that how we want to uh, stabilize this plant. So general parameters we all know to characterize a process is what is the quality and what is the composition of the feedstock, and for that also we need a service or a lab which can do all these analysis. Somebody is saying something. Okay, and then we need to know whichever feed material we are using, what is the quantum of biogas which will be produced and what will be the gas composition, so that we know how we are going to utilize it. And then the temperature is having a very, very important and a crucial role in fermentation, we all know. And then the total solid content. On the basis of this, a lot of various kinds of digester designs and various kinds of processes are available: dry fermentation and wet fermentation. And we have another different kinds of reactor, either a CSTR or plug flow, or right now we have an egg-shaped reactors. There are a lot many designs which have come up. All of them are selected on the basis of the total solids or the dry matter present in the waste material. Then the pH value and the nitrogen is very, very important uh, indicator. But when we come to the early indicators, the volatile fatty acids is very important indicator, because as we know in the cycle, volatile fatty has to be produced by the first set of the anaerobic the bacteria, and then that has to be utilized by the methanogens so that they can be converted into methane. And there has to be an alkalinity present in that, and this is a very standardized parameter right now which we are focused on. And in India we still don't do, most of the plant does not monitor even this particular parameter. And the other very important parameter is hydrogen production. Even any slight hydrogen production indicates that the reactor is disbalanced if we are doing anything. And as we have seen, there is a redox potential difference from where we can correlate how the process is functioning. Then there are a lot of complex monitoring or mixed parameters which have come up. So to do all these things, and as I was doing providing these cultures, and I need to maintain these cultures there, otherwise people will say that these microbes are not working. So that was the toughest task for us, to have a successful commissioning and then maintaining of microbes in the field condition. So that's why what I has created as a service is an app. This app helped me to monitor the health of the microbes which I have provided, and this helps me to give the right kind of dosage to the microorganisms. I provide yeah, the company provides nutrient, but as we all know कि सबका dose same नहीं होगा. That depends on to the feed conditions as well as the load condition or the operation conditions. So we need to modify it. How should I do it? I was doing it with the WhatsApp as a service, but it becomes very difficult. So as we all know, right now a lot of digitalization is happening. So we created an app, and that app also helping us in as a service, and we could able to get some clients, and hopefully this awareness will come in India. Internationally, people are doing a lot of advanced monitoring. I will come to that. But minimum monitoring is basically the mass of feedstock input. हम अंदर डालते क्या हैं? We don't have this data. We are designing any plant based on international papers or international data. We don't have our own data at this point of time. In case of wastewater or a sewage treatment, also in case of effluent treatment, a lot of things are not recorded. So that is the main thing, that we even must know that what we are putting in what is the daily gas production, what is the temperature, and what is the pH. And this we call as minimum monitoring of the reactor. And then there is an added thing that is called as standard monitoring. Apart from minimum monitoring, we need to see that biogas quality, because this also gives an early indication that there is something going bad in your reactor. Then this VO or TIC, or sometimes people call it as VFA by alkalinity ratio. There is a lot of names given to this particular parameter, which we generally do twice per month. And then there is a VFA, which we do. But if we go to the international plants, there is an advanced monitoring where we do a characterization of feedstock. Then we do a BMP of any feedstock which has been changed. In India, we put anything at any point of time. ये भी तो organic है, हमने डाल दिया. ये waste material आया, हमने डाल दिया. Nobody checks what is actually there. So, but internationally, people do any change in your feedstock, they do a PMP test, and then they are monitoring the TS, VS, and ammonia. Then other parameters are added on. So that is where the I see that there is an service which is required by this industry, and there can be a lot of innovation done on this side. So as I mentioned, I started working during my PhD itself onto the waste material, and I could able to do some of my work to improve anaerobic digestion using hydrogen producers. And we got a patent during my PhD itself, but I could not able to commercialize that at that point of time. And during starting my second innings as entrepreneur, I have to have a product which can be first able to get a taste of uh, I will say the authenticity. And right now whatever the plants are there having, few plants are having anaerobic digester, if I can revamp them, that was my focus. But as my long term goal was hydrogen from the start of my research career. So now again I have come back from last year. I am working aggressively on hydrogen production. And as you all know, even Modi ji has given a hydrogen mission. But most of us, when we are talking about green hydrogen, we are talking about green hydrogen using a solar or a renewable source for electrolysis. And the type of electrolyzers we will be generating is not sustainable, the materials which is used. So as a microbiologist, I was working or a biotechnologist for this particular thing for last 30 years. So I am now trying to combine dark fermentation and photo fermentation as two steps. And I'm happy to share that I worked with Newcastle University with an EU grant. Herein, I am working mostly with international research groups, so that we could able to demonstrate in another scale. So right now, if this project will go to the second phase funding, we will be doing a 20-ton biohydrogen production. And why hydrogen, if I say, is the cleanest fuel, we all know it will be decarbonizing all the sectors. And most of the people are doing this particular electrolysis. Whatever color of hydrogen we are talking about is from water. And as we all know, the water is already scarce, and we have to there are a lot many innovation done with the using wastewater also with electrolysis. This is a one of the thing. But as a biologist or as a microbiologist, I am trying my level best to optimize biological hydrogen production, which can be a very sustainable way and can solve a lot of our human made or man made problems solution. So our approach is basically to have a dark fermentation followed by methane. This is the first approach which we are doing. Apart from that, I am trying to do photo fermentation also. But photo fermentation, the cost of production is very high. Photo fermenters are little high tech. Maintaining the pure cultures are tougher there, since I have worked a lot with industry, and I know how difficult this is when we have to maintain a pure cultures in the waste materials without I will say sterilizing it. And because the sterilization cost for any waste material right now, if I am thinking to do a 20-ton plant for hydrogen production, I can't do the sterilization and have a cost effective hydrogen production. So what our technology is that we will be using these biphasic digesters to have green hydrogen, which can be blended with methane. Sorry, as we know, hydrogen storage and transmission is still a challenge, and hydrogen is so reactive material, and transporting it with the same pipelines we have, as internationally we are aiming for a one globe one grid kind of model, so that energy generated from any country can be supplied to any country. We need to think on that line how that can be. So biomethane is an upcoming thing where we will be having a mixture of hydrogen with methane that can be used to get a energy transition to hydrogen. So that is what is our first focus on. So we will be having a lot of benefits if we will be using this particular technology. I am trying to work with industry, a lot of industry wherein they have direct applications. So one of the, since I'm sharing my journey specifically, so as you have seen that our research company, which has been started with one product on the basis of which we started the company. Now we have increased our portfolio, and we have added other products, and soon we will be having another product which we are working with, and industry specific effluents, very niche effluents, like we are working with Aditya Birla Group, Reliance Group for their particular effluent or dye industry cluster to really solve the issue. There are a lot many theses and even a lot many I will say uh, bioculture suppliers at this point of time, but there is a difficult challenge to maintain this for these plants 365 days, because they can't stop their production and all. So there is a challenge, and we are trying to solve that. But I'm happy to say that I'm very lucky to get that incubation space in my initial phase. But now, as a company, we have graduated from the incubator and have now our own R&D facility, which you can see here. Um, and we have our own full-fledged R&D wet lab, dry lab, microbiological lab, where we can expand our research uh, to other product developments. And this is our pilot plant facility from where we produce our cultures and supply it. So this has been again given to us with the Sparsh grant, that is again supported by BIRAC. So totally we are till now supported by the ecosystem we have. We got an incubation space, we got an initial funding to do POC, then we got follow-on funding to do our manufacturing so that we can supply, and then by supplying this we could able to develop the whole deal or market fit product. But still we could not able to fully commercialize our product because, as I mentioned, I have worked with industry. I validated that these cultures are working, but we can't supply the volume or the quantum they are asking. They are asking me to give a culture in quantum of 1,000 meter cube per batch. So I don't have a production facility like that. So we only have a pilot plant. So we are aggressively looking for financing again to get it commercial. So uh, so as an entrepreneur, this is a very difficult way, and we are still walking on to this path. So there were a lot of challenges. Very initially, the incubation space was a tough challenge because I was based in Baroda, and there was not many incubators here in Baroda. In Ahmedabad, we do have, in other states we have. So having an incubator in your own, I will say tier 2 or tier 3 city was one of the challenge which has been supported by Government of India, and we got an incubator space in Gujarat, Baroda, and I can start. Then from the very start, hiring and maintaining team, because there is when you are as a startup, nobody, even parents don't want their kids to work in a startup. They want them to work in a multinational or some companies. So hiring and maintaining team, if I have hired also, the soon we need to train them very efficiently, and they get an offer from other counterparts of your industry, and they will go away. So maintaining team is also very very difficult, because in the initial stage you don't have a lot of deep pockets to fund. So that is another challenge. Then procurements, there are a lot many difficulties procuring. We all know, even doing our research projects, procurements are very very difficult task. And then not only procurement, wherein we have to supply the material also, so timely raw material has to come, then I have to process, and then I have to supply. So because of COVID and all that, that is totally a difficult task for us. So, and then in everybody faces this equipment breakdown, and thanks to COVID we have faced a lot of challenges. Then during some periods wherein you don't have any support, right now we don't have we are still a pre-revenue kind, or early revenue company. So there are financial crisis, and there are a lot of outsourced work which we are focused on, and sometimes those people delays. And then there are all meeting deadlines, not only with customer, with the grants and with other things. And then for IPR, there are now our patent has been granted across globe, so we are thinking of going global. As I mentioned, with those I try to uh, picture the whole journey here. So in 2016, I started as a big grantee, as a women scientist. Company was not there. In 2017, we started the company, and we three co-founder came together. And then we have done the prototype validation on the pilot scaling with the sports grant. This got delayed because of COVID little bit, and we could able to complete our uh, scaling, and we could submit these reports to BIREC authorities, and we got that validation. And from there we got um, a lot of customer LOIs from this particular phase. And then we could able to do a lot of B2B partnerships. We are waiting on to B2G right now by winning another challenge, Amrit challenge, from where we have been connected with the municipality by Government of India, so to demonstrate all this. So we are betting all those technologies, or all those business connects. If we could able to do it, we will be soon scale up to pan India level by demonstrating in one municipality, and then that can be replicated to another municipalities. So we are working very closely with the smart city mission also. So that is what we are doing. So we are thinking of having our mother plant, a commercial mother plant, and then we will be officially launching our product. That is our journey, and we will be after that, means like this is still 2021, but uh, this year we are thinking, because a lot of global clients are coming to us for these particular products. So these are some of the awards as mentioned by ma'am. I was very lucky to get all these recognitions, and this has given a lot of confidence to confidence in me to really carry on this journey further. So very recently we got this National Startup Award, and they have given us a coverage in DD National as Startup Champions. So that has, I think, in every village, people now know that there are somebody who can help them to maintain their small biogas plants, and people are coming to us. So that's where this all these challenges and participating in this although it is very very tough because I have to work with customer, I have to work with my innovation itself, and as well as doing all these is a too much of task. But as an entrepreneur, I advise everybody to participate and work with these challenges which are coming up. And very recently I got this brick women innovation award, and I'm happy that uh, I could be recognized at an international level also. So my aim is to uh, provide water to all and give them everybody a green earth so that we all can flourish. So I want to stop here. Should I stop sharing?
Thank you, Dr. Vanita.
Thank you, Sandeep ji. Most of the time, it seems when you are doing a virtual session like this, we really don't know if anybody is listening also or not.
Dr. Vanita,
Yeah,
it is first of all, congratulations
thank
to
you.
you for getting all those national recognition and international recognition. Now, you went through so many challenges. Can you share some of your experience related to the POC development concept for your product?
Yeah, so first challenge was to convince Bayrak that I am doing some innovation, because as everybody knows, cow dung is there. So why we need this product itself was a challenge for me to convince the Bayrak big. There is a committee, and then you have to convince them. You have to have a business plan there. So convincing a scientific group that I can able to do this was a challenge. Then convincing clients still is a challenge that you need this product, because there is a cost involved, and nobody wants to give that 1 rupee for this cultures. They want it as a free of cost because cow dung मिल जाता है उसी रेट में चाहिए. So we know as an microbiologist, doing a media costs us a lot. How we will able to produce it in a cost effective manner that the industry can pay that cost was another challenge. So selecting materials accordingly for my media was one of the challenge which I have done for my process patent. That was the difficult task. Convincing and getting that in economics was a very very tough thing, and then convincing any industry to get actual effluent to do the validation, because they are very much scared to give you any effluent out. So it's a big challenge to get an effluent and validate that okay, I can do that during my POC itself. And after doing this particular cultures, running a plant 24 by 7 in the lab. As you know, during our PhDs, we generally do all that work 24 hours. But as a company, it becomes very, very difficult because hiring people at a very early stage in shifts are very, very difficult. So doing those kinds of experiment, planning those kinds of experiments becomes very, very difficult. So yeah, POC, doing a POC, and that too not in an academic background, means like I was working as an R&D head of environment consultancy, resigning it and starting your own lab as a woman scientist was a big challenge. And really, it was a difficult task at that point of time, doing all those experiments, running reactors and validating it. After that, we could able to do it in the lab. I was knowing that lab is not that difficult, but replicating in a 20-meter cube fermenting reactor, that's what in my pilot facility I have to redo and run these reactors to produce these biocultures, which I store in the reactor, the containers which you could able to see, the tanks you can able to see. So that was another challenge add on, and above and all is COVID. So we were not supposed to go to the lab, and at that point of time, I was literally panicked because subculturing these, I was not allowed to go to lab because of COVID conditions, and subculturing and maintaining. If I lose anything, is the biggest challenge as a company right now for us. So you all know that Pepsi has a trade secret because they maintain that. So maintaining that is the biggest challenge for a biotech startup. I will say, if you are working with any kind of microbes, maintaining that in pure form is a bigger challenge. Yeah. Hope I have given answer to you, Sandeep ji.
Second, I have one more query. See, you are handling anaerobic culture. Aerobic culture handling is not a difficult, but anaerobic culture, that too, you have to maintain that situation, even while you are supplying the inoculum to other industry and institutions. So, have you faced any challenge regarding the oxygen toxicity during the seed transfer, or during the storage of seed, or related to even the process, during the process itself?
So luckily, what I could able to do is I have selected or done a consortia which can it's a strict microbial consortia where we need an oxygen means like oxygen will be a toxicity, but still they can tolerate a lot of oxygen. So oxygen totally, that if I supply an oxygen, but if it remains opened or get an oxygen shock for a longer duration of time, it is very difficult to revive them. But till now, I have during my big grant, uh, I will say the grant thing, I have done a lot of studies on just for storing these cultures, the way I want to store, the shelf life and all that studies has been done during that particular period itself. So I tried a lot of shocks, this thing, that how I will be recovering this. So I have done a lot of studies, and I have done parameters to QC my products, because I can't do I will say the plating for every and this batch. So I have done a standardization of doing a batch QC itself by 16 sRNA. Means like I have done a metagenomics standardization, so that I know that these cultures are reviving. Apart from that, when I am supplying it, we do give them particular instructions. There are an SOPs which has been given to the client, and they have to follow it. And that's where I needed a kind of monitoring. So mostly I am not giving culture just selling it across counter, because that is much easier to get a revenue that I have sold something. But maintaining that, because these plant is not one time sale, that has to grow in their reactors, perform in their reactors. And that's why I have done during my Sparsh grant, I have developed this app kind of thing, from by which we are connected to the client or the operator very much during the commissioning or during the usage of our products. Yeah, we have to be very careful while doing all these studies. But yeah, there can be a chance if we are not telling our operators very giving not very clear cut instructions to them, and if they are not following it, you might lose the whole batch. You can, but it has not happened with us. Luckily, with our storage bay, we would able to improve the methanogenic activity, but there is still a challenge that we lose a lot of hydrolyzing this thing if we store for a very long time. So a proper shelf life is required. Yes, that is required. So that is one of the tough challenge to maintain the inventory. How I will be doing my production cycle is very very important. So all that needs to be carefully monitored. You can't just ऐसा कोई प्रोडक्ट नहीं है ना जिसको प्रोड्यूस करके मैं स्टोर करके रख सकती हूँ. आई कांट डू दैट. इट हैज टू हैव अ सेल साइकिल. सो इट्स अ वेरी टफ काइंड ऑफ पूरा वो रोप पे चलने जैसा है कि बैलेंस करके ही चलना है. ऑर्डर आ गया तो भी सप्लाई करना प्रॉब्लम है. 2 ऑर्डर आ गए तो कैसे करोगे? All that is the challenges which we are trying to figure out before doing any partnerships for mass production. I will say mass production because although I have scaled it up to a level of 20 meter cube, but this is not the scale which is required. So that's the thin line. But thanks to the support given to me during Big and Squash grant, I could able to do a lot of studies to optimize the shelf life, the transportation way, packaging way. All that has been done. So that is very important part of your validation studies.
लास्ट क्वेश्चन है. लास्ट क्वेश्चन.
हाँ जी, बोलिए. हेलो.
And do you provide any training opportunity to postgraduate students at your company?
Yes. Right now also I have intern students. So we do provide internships. Yeah. Mm. Okay. Mm. For production you are asking of at the client side. So for production, when I am using, I had a full ETP kind of thing wherein the outlet of our itself is gone to an aeration tank. We have a carbon filter, so we have to follow that same production norms which most of the industry has to follow. So production has to be same way. In most of the waste treatment clients where I am providing these cultures, we have generally, like if we are doing giving to a food processing industry, as I mentioned, a potato starch, so they have 30,000 COD that get reduced by 90%. So still we have 9,000 or sorry 3,000 COD in that effluent. So that cannot be discharged. So we have to do an aeration followed by other things. And right yesterday only I was working with the dairy. So yeah, we have to have another option there. So directly this can't be used. But for biogas plant, now there is a fertilizer rule that slurry can be directly used as a liquid slurry as fertilizer in case of biogas when we are doing a biogas plant. So there we need not to treat the digestate, but in case of wastewater, we want to reuse that. There are companies, even PepsiCo is reutilizing their water. Whatever comes out of their biogas plant, they are separating that solid liquid, and then liquid goes to the effluent treatment plant that get treated, and then that water get reused. So cost of treatment get reduced by 80%, and they get an energy recovery which they are using. And most of the plants now trying to utilize this energy for their as an electricity for their plants only, but that is not giving them an ROI. So most of them are now looking to the CBG option, which government is providing now. So CBG gives them per meter cube when they are converting it around 48 to 52 rupees. While electricity they are saving 4 to 5 rupees, 5 to 7 rupees. That is what the renewable energy cost is. So that is there, and a lot of like I was mentioning, canteen waste which industry is using, that they save their LPG. So that's how they are working. So digestate is used as a fertilizer, but in case of industry they are treating the digestate to reuse the water. Yeah, ma'am was asking that we are giving the internships. Yes, we are providing internships, and I am open to any good venture or a PhD thesis who are working on. Like I have done two MTech theses on hydrogen production and bioethane with IIT Gandhinagar. Yeah, we are open to that, since I am doing a lot of research based new products or bioremediation. Yeah, we are open to that. So just now I am trying to write an academic industry partnership project for biohydrogen production with alumni, and one of the PhD student will work on that. Yeah, yeah. Sandeep, I always, yeah, day before also, I was calling you regarding the photo hydrogen production. I was stuck with something and I was calling you. So yeah, he is a great resource person for me, to whom I really bag on when actual microbiology issues comes. That what I really want to do. So yeah, Sandeep, you are always a supporter. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's fully working now. So you are most welcome. Anybody from Goa coming to this site can visit, and we are really happy to collaborate with any of. I do mentor the startups. So BIRAC has this SIPP fellows. If you are doing anything on that activities also, yeah, yeah. So I do mentor those startups. So right now, from CCAM, from Venture Center, these SIPP fellows which come, I do mentor them. I will be starting this next session mentoring. I will be mentoring 10 startup from waste to value portion. Last time I have done a lot of mentoring. So I do do this mentoring sessions with the upcoming generation, because I had so many ideas, and there is so many ways to use this waste material which is there. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Veda. Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you. Thank you. You can continue to be here. We have now with Mr. Pratik Patra with us.
Yeah, I will be more than happy to hear him.
Veda, I request you to kindly stop